I died choking on my own vomit in a dingy motel room off I-5. The taste of cheap bourbon and shattered dreams burning my throat like acid rain. The last thing I saw was my husband's face, not in person, but in a grainy email attachment, him laughing with her. The realtor bitch who'd inked the deal on her house while I was out scraping pennies to save it. And then, like a glitch in God's shitty code, I woke up gasping in my own bed 3 years earlier. The alarm clock blinking 6:47 a.m. My heart pounding as if I'd just clawed my way out of a grave. And hell yes, I had. The sheets tangled around me like the lies I'd soon unravel. And for a split second, I thought it was just another nightmare. But the scar on my left knee from that hiking trip in the Cascades with Jake, God, Jake, it itched under my fingers, real as the mortgage statement crumpled on the nightstand. 3 years. I'd thrown everything into the fire to keep this roof over our heads, the inheritance from my mom, the overtime shifts at the hospital where I scrubbed floors as an RN, even hawking my grandma's heirloom ring. And for what? So he could fuck the enemy and flip the deed while I drowned in debt collectors' calls. I bolted upright, the room spinning like a bad acid trip. But it was our room, our queen-sized bed with a sagging mattress, the faded Seahawks poster Jake had nailed up after the Super Bowl loss in 19. Seattle hadn't changed. The distant hum of the 520 bridge traffic filtered through the blinds, and the coffee maker downstairs gurgled like it always did when he set the timer.
Jake.
My husband of 7 years. The charming bastard with a dimpled smile and the wandering dick. In my first life, or death, whatever you call it, I'd trusted him blind. We'd bought this fixer-upper in Bellevue when Genesis and I were fresh out of community college, dreaming of the white picket fence amid the tech boom. Genesis. That's me. Genesis Hale. Nay Rivera. The fool who thought love was enough to pay the bills. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on my face. Staring back was the old me, 32, with laugh lines just starting to crease, dark curls frizzing from the humidity, brown eyes wide with the kind of terror that comes from knowing the future. My hands shook as I gripped the sink. "This is real," I whispered, the words echoing off the subway tiles. The overdose hadn't been an accident, not entirely. After the eviction notice, after finding those emails, I'd numbed the pain with a bottle and pills, whispering Jake's name like a curse as the world faded.
But now
I had a redo. A chance to bury him before he buried me. Downstairs, the smell of burnt toast hit me like a slap. Jake was at the kitchen island, scrolling his phone, that easy grin plastered on as he buttered a slice. "Morning,
babe.
You look like you saw a ghost," he chuckled, oblivious, his blue eyes crinkling, the same eyes that had lied so smoothly later. I forced a smile, my stomach churning.
Bad dream.
The usual debt crap. It wasn't a lie. In this timeline, we were already teetering. His startup gig at that Amazon knockoff had tanked 6 months back, leaving us with $80,000 in arrears on the house. I'd just wired the final payment from my savings yesterday, every last cent, to keep the bank off our backs. "Did the transfer go through?" He glanced up, casual as ever.
"Yeah.
All good." "You're a lifesaver." "Jen," he leaned in for a kiss. But I dodged, grabbing coffee instead. His touch felt like poison ivy now, itching with memories I shouldn't have. As I sipped the bitter brew, my mind raced. In the old timeline, I'd come home from a double shift to find the locks changed, a for sale sign stabbing the lawn like a middle finger from fate. Jake had forgotten to mention the realtor consult. The one that turned into an affair with Vanessa Klein, the sharp-suited shark from Pinnacle Properties. She'd whispered sweet nothings about off-market buyers while he whispered dirtier ones in her ear. By morning, the deal was done. Our home, our memories, sold for a quick $750K payout that vanished into his offshore account and her commission. I'd ended up in that motel,
Penniless.
broken, with nothing but a stack of divorce papers he never bothered to serve. But not this time. This time, I'd play dirty. First, I needed proof, something to twist the knife before I plunged it. "Hey, babe," I said, keeping my voice light. "That realtor you mentioned last week, Vanessa? You still thinking about chatting with her?" Jake paused mid-bite, fork hovering. Maybe.
Why?
You having second thoughts about the payment?" I shrugged, feigning nonchalance. "Just curious. Market's hot. Maybe we could flip it ourselves. Make a killing."
Lie.
I knew the market crash was coming. Whispers of recession in the tech sector. Layoffs looming like storm clouds over Puget Sound. But planting the seed? That was step one. He relaxed, popping a grape into his mouth.
Nah.
Too much hassle. Vanessa's got connections. Said she could get us top dollar without the headache. There it was, the hook in his voice. The glint of greed. In the old life, that chat had started innocent. Coffee at Pike Place. Her laughing at his jokes. Him spilling our financial guts. By week 2, they were tangled in her condo downtown. I nodded, filing it away.
Cool.
Pass the jam. As he did, my eyes snagged on his phone screen, a notification from an unfamiliar app. Venmo?
No.
Something called discrete transfers. My blood iced. I remembered now. He'd started siphoning loans from our joint account months before the sale. Funneled to her for consulting fees. Bastard. The day blurred into controlled chaos. I called in sick to the hospital, first time in years, claiming a migraine. Jake kissed my forehead and headed to his freelance meeting, which I knew was code for job hunting at the co-working space in South Lake Union. Once he was gone, I tore into his laptop, the one he left charging on the charger like an idiot. Password: our anniversary. Pathetic. Emails first. Buried in deleted folders, a thread with Vanessa. Dated last month. Can't wait to show you the comps.
Jake.
Dinner after? Followed by his reply, only if Jen's out of town. She's killing me with the debt talk. My nails dug into my palms. Then, attachments, property listings, but one stood out, a glossy PDF of our house. Marked confidential, off-market, timestamp, yesterday afternoon, right after my wire transfer. Fury boiled, hot and righteous. But I reined it in. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon with landmines. I screenshotted everything, emailed it to my personal Gmail, set up a new one, January-born 87, and then dug deeper. Bank apps. Our joint Chase account showed the deposit from me, but a withdrawal too, $5,000 to VK.
Consulting. Consulting my ass.
By noon, I was in the garage, prying open the lockbox where we stashed important docs. There it was, the mortgage statement, stamped paid in full. And tucked behind it, an signed addendum, preliminary sale agreement, dated tomorrow. They'd planned it all along. While I scrubbed bedpans for minimum wage, he'd been plotting our eviction like a goddamn CEO merger. I slammed the box shut, chest heaving. The secret they'd buried? It wasn't just the affair.
No.
Deeper. Jake's startup hadn't tanked on its own. He'd cooked the books, embezzled client funds to keep it afloat, then pinned it on his partner when the feds came sniffing. That partner? Meek little Tim from accounting, who ate the blame and did 6 months in county jail. I'd believed Jake's crocodile tears, even testified on his behalf. My husband's a good man, I'd said in court, the judge nodding sympathetically.
Good man. Right. Now.
Reborn. I saw the rot. Tim had been collateral, innocent, like me. And Vanessa? She knew. Her firm had represented the clients in the fraud case. And she'd cut Jake a deal, spill on Tim, get immunity, and she'd help with the house as a bonus. A web of betrayal, sticky as Seattle fog. I spent the afternoon plotting. Step 1, confront?
No.
Too soon. They'd gaslight me, call me paranoid. Step 2, record everything. I synced Jake's phone via his forgotten Bluetooth, amateur hour, and installed a tracker app on the sly. Step 3, allies. I texted Sarah, my old nursing buddy from Harborview. Drinks tonight? Need to vent. Sarah, the one who'd held my hand in the motel aftermath, before I pushed her away. In this life, she'd be my anchor. Evening fell like a guillotine. Jake came home with takeout from that fusion place in Capitol Hill, sushi burritos. His guilty pleasure after a bad day. Landed an interview, he announced, popping a California roll. VP at this fintech startup. Could be huge. I smiled, clinking my water glass to his beer. Proud of you.
Lie.
I knew that fintech was a front for more laundering. Same playbook. Different players. As we ate, I steered the convo. So, about the house. You think Vanessa's legit? He tensed. Just a flicker. Why the 3rd degree? Jen, we're solid now. Just thinking ahead. What if we lose it anyway? I watched him squirm, the guilt etching fine lines around his mouth. Won't happen. Trust me. Those words, trust me, echoed like the chamber of a loaded gun. That night, as he snored beside me, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. The controversial choice loomed. Did I poison the well now? Or let it fester until I could drown them both? I chose patience, but with teeth. By dawn, I drafted an anonymous tip to the SEC about Jake's old embezzlement, enough to spook him without fingering me. Send?
Not yet.
Let the noose tighten slow. 3 days later, the first crack showed. Jake's phone buzzed during breakfast. Vanessa. Meeting in my office? Hale property. He silenced it quick. But not before I glimpsed the heart emoji she tacked on. Everything okay? I asked, buttering toast like a shark circling chum.
Yeah.
Just work. Sweat beaded his brow. The interview had gone south, layoff rumors. He confessed later. Desperation bred mistakes. I nodded. Sympathetic.
Inside.
I burned. That afternoon, I tailed him from the co-working space. Parked across from Vanessa's sleek office in Belltown, rain pattering my windshield like accusatory fingers. They emerged at 4 p.m., her hand on his arm, guiding him to a corner bistro. I watched from afar, heart a war drum, as they leaned close over espresso, her red nails tracing his knuckles. Enough. I fired off the SEC tip from a VPN at the library, detailed, damning, with Jake's name in lights. Then, home to wait. The backlash hit like a freight train. Jake burst through the door at 7. Face ashen. Jen, you see this? He thrust his phone at me. A subpoena email. SEC seal glaring. Some bullshit about the old startup. It's nothing. Tim's crap coming back to bite. I feigned shock, hugging him tight. Oh God.
Jake.
What do we do? Lawyer up. Vanessa's on it. She knows people.
Of course she did.
As he paced, ranting about witch hunts, I slipped upstairs, dialing Sarah from the bathroom. Meet me.
Now.
It's worse than I thought. Over IPAs at the alibi room. I spilled, not the rebirth. That was my cross, but the embezzlement, the sale plot, the affair I suspected. Sarah's eyes widened, her barista hands gripping mine. Jen, that's felony territory. You need proof. And out. Crash with me. I shook my head. Not yet. I need to end it my way. Her brow furrowed. Your way? Girl. Don't go vigilante. Cops. Cops let Tim rot.
No.
The decision crystallized. Controversial. Yes, borderline illegal, but justice wasn't a 911 call. It was scorched earth. Back home, Jake was on the couch, scotch in hand, Vanessa on speaker. Relax.
Babe.
I got the addendum pulled. No sale without your signature.
Babe.
The words slithered out.
Oily.
I hovered in the doorway. Invisible. Listened as she cooed assurances. Him melting like butter.
Click.
Silence. He jumped when I cleared my throat. All good.
Yeah.
Crisis averted. Relief washed his face. But his eyes darted, guilt's tell. I smiled. Lethal. Good. Because I signed us up for couples counseling. Tomorrow. We need this. Jake. His jaw dropped. Counseling?
Now. Now.
Non-negotiable. Step 4. Trap him in therapy, where lies unravel under scrutiny. The session was a powder keg.
Dr.
Ellis, this no-bullshit shrink from Mercer Island, leaned forward in her leather chair. Genesis. You start. What's eating you? I glanced at Jake.
His knee bouncing. Trust.
I covered the debt, our home, and it feels like it's slipping away anyway. He squeezed my hand. Babe, we're in this together.
Dr.
Ellis arched a brow. Are you? Jacob? Genesis mentioned the realtor consult. His grip tightened. A vice. Just exploring options. For us.
Lies.
I pulled my hand away. Options like selling behind my back? The room crackled. Jake stammered. What? No, but I was done playing. I saw the addendum.
Jake.
In the lockbox.
Dr.
Ellis's pen paused. Jacob, it's not what you think. Panic edged his voice. Vanessa's helping refinance. Bullshit. The word exploded.
Raw.
I know about the emails. The dinners. The babe calls. Silence. Thick as tar. Jake's face crumpled, then hardened. You're paranoid.
Jen.
Stress from work.
Dr.
Ellis interjected. This isn't productive. Jacob. Address the accusation. He glared at me. Venomous.
Fine.
Yeah. I talked to her. Flirted? Maybe. But I didn't fuck her. And the house? We needed the cash. Your debt obsession was killing us. My debt. The words landed like shrapnel. My obsession? I paid it off. For us. He laughed.
Bitter.
With what? Your mom's money? That ring? You think I don't know you pawned it?
Dr.
Ellis called time. But the damage was done.
Outside.
In the parking lot. Jake exploded. You set me up. That was no counseling. It was an ambush. Maybe you deserved it. I unlocked my car. Rain starting to spit. He grabbed my arm. Get in. We're talking this out.
No.
I wrenched free. The controversial line blurring. Should I slap him?
Run?
Instead, I drove off. Heart slamming. Leaving him in the downpour. That night, alone at Sarah's cramped apartment in Fremont, I pored over the recordings, every call, every text. Vanessa's voice. Sultry. Sign it tomorrow. And we're golden. My place after? Jake's groan. Jen suspects. The SEC. Handle her. Or I will. Chills. The hidden secret deepened. Vanessa wasn't just a side piece. She'd masterminded the fraud cover-up, using Jake as her puppet. Tim's conviction? Her firm's doing, bearing evidence for a cut of the embezzled funds. Revenge sharpened to a blade. I emailed the recordings to Tim, in prison mail. Fight back. Truth attached.
Then.
To a PI I'd Googled. $2,000 from my emergency stash. Tail Vanessa Klein. Dirt on Hale. Days bled into a tense standoff. Jake begged forgiveness via texts, flowers delivered to the hospital. Voicemails cracking with remorse. I love you.
Jen.
It was a mistake. I played along. Returning home for appearances, sleeping on the couch. The PI delivered gold, photos of Vanessa and Jake at a Belltown hotel. Time-stamped last week. Plus, bank trails, her funneling his loans to a Cayman account. And the kicker, she was married. To the DA who'd prosecuted Tim. Bingo. The web quivered. Word count, 1012. File 2. I stared at the PI's dossier spread across Sarah's kitchen table. The photos' glossy indictments under the harsh fluorescent light. Jake's arm around Vanessa's waist. Her head thrown back in laughter, carefree. Pull. The DA's wife. Laundering dirty money while her husband locked up innocence. It was poetic. In a fucked-up American way. Justice for sale. One backroom deal at a time. Seattle's underbelly. Where tech bros and power couples played God with other people's lives. Sarah paced. Chewing her thumbnail. This is dynamite.
Jen.
But dangerous. You leak this. They come for you. Let em. My voice was steel. Forged in death's fire. I've got nothing left to lose. Except this time. I choose who bleeds. She stopped. Eyes searching mine. You're different. Scarier. What happened to the girl who cried over rom-coms? Died. The word hung. Too honest. I softened. Look. I appreciate you.
Sar.
But this ends now. Plan coalesced over cold pizza. Confrontation. But smart. No gunslinging, too Hollywood. Instead, leverage. I scheduled a mediation with Vanessa's firm, posing as the aggrieved wife seeking amicable divorce terms. Jake bought it, desperate for reconciliation. Anything,
babe.
I'll sign whatever. The meeting was set for her office. Friday, 2 p.m. Rainier Square. I arrived early, wired with a recorder in my bra. Old school, but untraceable. The lobby gleamed, all glass and chrome, a monument to Seattle's boomtown greed. Vanessa's assistant, a perky blonde named Kaylee, ushered me in with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Mrs. Hale? Yes. Klein's running a tad late. No shit. I waited, nerves electric, flipping through a real estate mag, irony thick as fog. At 2:15, the door swung open. Vanessa Klein, mid-40s, Pilates toned, blonde bob sharp as a guillotine, power suit hugging curves like a promise. Genesis. Sorry, traffic on the viaduct.
Lie.
I'd watched her pull in at 1:50 from the coffee shop across the street. We shook, her grip firm, assessing. Coffee? Water. Truth. I sat, crossing my legs. About my husband. Her laugh tinkled.
Forced.
Jake? Charming man. But let's discuss terms. Prenup voids the house equity. Save it. I slid the photos across the desk. Or this goes to your husband. And the feds. Color drained from her face. But she recovered quick, cunning, like a fox in heels. Blackmail? Classy. Genesis. But those are nothing. Jake initiated. Initiated the fraud too? I tapped the bank printouts. You're consulting to his Cayman slush fund. Tim Riley's conviction? Your firm's hatchet job. She leaned back, steepling fingers. Bold accusations. Got proof. More than you. I hit play on my phone, low volume. Their hotel moans fuzzy, but unmistakable. Her eyes narrowed to slits. Turn it off. Voice like ice. What do you want? The house? Money? Everything. My pulse thrummed. Confess. To the DA, your husband. Jake's embezzlement. The cover-up. And the sale plot.
She scoffed.
You're delusional. That confession tanks my marriage, my career. Refuse. And it all leaks. Seattle Times gets the affair. SEC gets the money trail. Tim's lawyer gets the coercion evidence. Bluff on the last. I'd mailed Tim the files. But no lawyer yet. But she didn't know that. Stalemate stretched. The clock ticking like a bomb. Then, her mask cracked, a flicker of fear. You're not like the others. What makes you tick? Genesis? Revenge porn.
Worse.
Betrayal. The word cracked open the vault. Motel floor. Pills scattering. Jake's email searing my retinas. You took my home. My life. Now I take yours. She studied me. Calculating. Truce? I pulled a sale. Wire you $200K. Jake walks, clean slate. Tempting. The controversial fork. Walk away rich. Or burn it down. Walking meant safety. A fresh start. Burning meant chaos, cops. Headlines. Maybe jail. But the reborn me craved the blaze. No deal. I stood. Confess by Monday. Or it drops. Out the door. Her voice trailed. You don't know who you're fucking with.
Hale.
I knew exactly. That's why I had a go bag in my trunk. Essentials. Cash from another pawn shop run. Sarah's spare key. Jake waited at home, pacing the living room like a caged wolf. How'd it go? Smooth. I dropped my bag.
Casual.
She's dropping the sale. But we need to talk, really talk. His relief was palpable, pulling me into a hug. Thank God. I swear. Jen. It was stupid. I love you.
Love.
The word soured. As he nuzzled my neck, I whispered, prove it. Tomorrow, we go to the police. About the old fraud. He froze, pulling back.
What?
Why drag that up? Because Tim's innocent. And we're not. My eyes locked his, challenging, unblinking. Jen.
No.
That ruins us. Job prospects. Credit. Us. There is no us. The dam broke. I know.
Jake.
The affair. The money. Selling our home while I bled for it. He deflated, shoulders slumping. It wasn't like that. The startup. Pressure. Vanessa offered a way out. A way to fuck me over. Tears pricked, real ones. From the girl who'd loved him. You chose her. And greed. He sank to the couch, head in hands. I'm sorry. So fucking sorry. Let me fix it. You can't. But part of me wavered, the old Genesis, clinging to scraps. Controversial. Forgive? Rebuild on ruins?
No.
Death had cauterized that weakness. Monday dawned gray, drizzle veiling the sound. I woke to Jake gone, note on the counter. Need space. Love you. Bullshit. Tracker pinged, his phone at Vanessa's condo. I drove there, the waterfront high-rise mocking with its infinity views. Buzzed up on a lie, delivery for Klein, and rode the elevator. Heart a jackhammer. Door ajar. Voices murmuring. Peered in, them. Huddled on the balcony. Rain sheeting the glass. She knows too much, Vanessa hissed. We disappear Costa Rica. My accounts. Tonight. Jake nodded. Frantic. The house closes tomorrow. We grabbed the check.
Ghost. Ghost.
Like I'd been. Rage crested. I pushed in.
Door banging.
Going somewhere? They whirled. Vanessa's face a mask of fury. Jake's pale as milk. Jen, how? Doesn't matter. I held up my phone. Live streaming to Sarah. Smile for the audience. And the cloud backup to the Times. Vanessa lunged for it. I dodged, backing toward the hall. Confess.
Now.
Or this goes viral. Jake stepped forward, placating. Babe. Listen. No. The scream echoed. You sold our home. My home. While I fought for it. For you. Tears streamed. But I held ground. Vanessa sneered. Pathetic. Jake. Get the phone. He hesitated, that split-second humanity. Then lunged. Chaos erupted. I sidestepped. Him crashing into the credenza, vase shattering. Lilies scattering like bloodless wounds. Vanessa clawed for me. Nails raking my arm. Pain flared. But I swung the phone like a club, catching her cheek. Enough, Jake roared, grabbing my wrists. You're insane, insane. The word ignited. I need him, hard, between the legs. He crumpled,
gasping.
Vanessa scrambled for her purse. Gun? No. Pepper spray. She blasted. Fire bloomed in my eyes. World blurring. I staggered, coughing, but lunged blind. Tackled her to the rug, wrestling for the can. Confess.
Bitch.
Sirens wailed, Sarah, bless her, had called 911 on my signal. Neighbors.
2.
The door burst. Cops. Barking orders. Hands up. Drop it. We froze, me straddling Vanessa. Spray clattering. Jake moaned on the floor. Cuffs clicked. Cold and final. At the station, the interrogation room smelled of stale coffee and regret. Detective Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina with a mariner's lanyard, slid a water across. Mrs.
Hale.
Walk us through it. I did, omitting the rebirth, framing it as months of suspicion culminating in the trap. Photos. Recordings. The dossier. Jake and Vanessa. In separate rooms.
Cracked under the pylon.
He sobbed about pressure. The affair a lapse. She lawyered up. But the money trail sang, $300K laundered. Tim's case a sham. By midnight, charges flew. Fraud. Conspiracy. Attempted assault. The house sale? Frozen pending investigation. Our home, mine now saved. But victory tasted like ash. Sarah bailed me out, hugging fierce in the lobby. You did it.
Jen.
You're free.
Free.
As we drove back to her place, city lights smearing like tears, doubt crept. Jake's eyes in that moment hurt. Real? Had I destroyed more than villains?
Tuesday brought the twist.
Ruiz called. Hale? One more thing. In Klein's files, paternity test. For your daughter. Daughter? We didn't have, wait. Lily. In the old timeline, I'd miscarried after the stress. 6 months post-eviction. But here?
No.
We'd tried.
Failed.
Or so Jake said. The tests from 2 years ago. Not his. World tilted. Lily, our miracle embryo from IVF. Frozen since college. But the dates. I'd been away on a nursing conference when they implanted. Jake's lie. Deeper. Vanessa's egg. His sperm. My body. Their child. Rage. Fresh and volcanic. But beneath, a twisted relief. Lily, if she existed here, wasn't mine to lose. Ruiz sighed. He swapped donors. Thought you'd never know. I laughed. Hollow. He was wrong. The controversial crescendo. Expose it? Ruin Lily's world before she breathed? Or bury it? Reclaim her as my own, twisted justice. I chose fire. Told Sarah everything. Rebirth too. Her jaw dropping. Holy shit.
Jen.
You're like a superhero. Or villain. Both. We plotted the final strike. Weeks blurred into a legal maelstrom. Seattle's justice machine grinding slow but inexorable. Jake and Vanessa rotted in King County, him denied bail for flight risk. Her for witness tampering. The SEC swooped. Freezing assets, the DA. Her husband. Resigned in scandal. His career a smoking crater. Tim Riley walked free. Charges dropped. His tearful thank you voicemail a bomb. Whoever you are. Angel, thank you.
Me?
I played the victim flawless. Interviews with King, 5. My face blurred but voice steady. They took everything. But I took it back. The house stood mine. Refinance clean with insurance payouts from the fraud. Sarah moved in. Rent-free. Our duo of fortress against the media vultures circling Bellevue. But the Lily bomb festered. Tests confirmed. In this timeline, the implantation had stuck. I was 14 weeks along. The ultrasound tech at Swedish Beaming. Healthy girl. Due June.
June.
The month I'd died before. Naming her Lily felt like theft now. Jake's lie made flesh. Abortion crossed my mind. Controversial as hell in red state whispers bleeding into blue Washington. Protests outside clinics. The guilt trips from family values ants. But I couldn't. She was innocent. A wild card in my revenge saga. I'd raise her right. Fierce. Unbetrayed. My daughter. By choice if not blood. The climax brewed in the courthouse. Arraignment day. Rain lashed the steps. Protesters chanting, "Justice for fraud." Ironic, given the DA's fall. I sat front row. Sarah's hand in mine. As Jake shuffled in, orange jumpsuit swallowing his frame. Eyes hollowed by detox. Vanessa beside. Hair limp. Glaring daggers. The judge. A stern black woman named Harlan. Intone charges. Wire fraud. Conspiracy. Identity theft. The sale docs forged in my name. Jake's lawyer. A slick Bellevue suit. Pleaded not guilty. Blathering about marital discord. Then. My turn. Victim impact. I rose. Knees steady. Facing the bench. Camera's word. But I saw only him. Jacob Hale. I began. Voice amplified. You weren't just my husband. You were my partner. My home. I covered our debt, sold my soul to night shifts, pawned my past to keep us afloat.
And you? You sold me out.
For her. Gestured to Vanessa, who flinched. For money. For lies. Murmurs rippled. Jake's head bowed.
But I pressed.
You embezzled from innocence, framed a good man, and planned to leave me homeless, pregnant with your deception.
Gasps.
The Lily reveal, timed, brutal. Leaked to the press pre-trial. It was my twist, not just revenge, but exposure. Controversial? Hell yes, airing dirty laundry in open court, potentially scarring a child unborn. But America loved spectacle. Headlines screamed, betrayed wife's bombshell, hubby's baby swap scandal. Jake looked up, eyes pleading. Jen, please. No. I leaned in, Mike catching the whisper. Rot for it. Like I almost did. Judge Harlan banged gavel. Order. Yes.
Hale.
That's enough. But it wasn't.
Outside.
Post-hearing, reporters swarmed. I fielded one. Regrets? Flashbulbs popped. Only that I trusted. Poetic.
Raw. Inside.
The tension coiled, catharsis edged with void. Revenge sated.
But the hole Jake left gaped.
That night, alone in our reclaimed home, there's no more. I wandered rooms ghosted by memories. The kitchen where we'd danced a culture wall. His hands on my hips. The nursery, half-painted blue by mistake. Now pale yellow for Lily. I touched the crib rails. Tears hot. Happy ending? Not tidy. I'd won the war, but battles scarred. Twist came unbidden, a letter. Slipped under the door. Jake's scrawl. Smuggled via his sister. Traitor. But useful. Jen. I write from hell. Knowing I deserve it. The affair. The money, greed, weakness. But Lily? That was fear. Tests showed low motility. I panicked.
Thought you'd leave if no baby.
Vanessa. She facilitated. I hate myself. Forgive?
No.
But know I loved you. Once. Truly. Destroy this. And be happy for her. Jake. I burned it in the sink. Flames licking blue. Loved.
Once.
Too late. Months rolled. Belly swelling like hope deferred. Sarah became auntie-in-waiting. Our Fridays, wine-free mocktails and true crime pods. Irony not lost. Work resumed. Promotions whispered. Resilient Genesis. Fraud whistleblower. Bellevue whispered too. Neighbors stares. Pitying nods at the grocery. Saw your story. Brave.
Brave.
Or broken.
Reborn.
Labor hit on a freak June heatwave. Sound shimmering unnatural. Hospital lights harsh. Contractions like judgment. Sarah coached. Push. Mama. And then cry. Piercing.
Real.
Lily Rivera Hale. 6 pounds. Dark curls like mine. Eyes blue as Jake's lie. I held her, tiny fist clutching my finger, and wept, not for loss, but arrival. She'd never know his shadow. I'd shield her with stories of strength, not betrayal. Epilogue etched in quiet victories. Jake plea bargained. 15 years federal. Asset forfeiture, stripping him bare. Vanessa. 10 for laundering. Her firm dissolved in lawsuits. Tim hired me as consultant for his wrongful suit. Millions settled. Him buying the house next door as thanks. 1 year on. Lily's first birthday. Backyard bash. Sarah grilling salmon. Tim toasting with IPAs. Laughter echoed. Drowning old ghosts. I watched her toddle. Cake-smeared grin. And felt it, peace. Jagged but whole. Rebirth wasn't magic, it was grit. I died betrayed. Risen vengeful. Controversial choices? Yeah, near vigilantism. Public shaming. Claiming a child not mine. But in America's cutthroat arena, where homes are ATMs and love's a contract, I chose survival.
Fierce.
Unapologetic. And as the sun dipped over the Cascades, painting our roof gold, I whispered to the wind. We kept it.
Ours.